This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the Gulf of Mexico as their backdrop, broadcasting live from the Margaritaville Resort on Fort Myers Beach, here are the hosts of the dinkiest podcast in America, Kim and Ed Ryan.
And thank you very much for joining us. Another beautiful Saturday here on Fort Myers Beach. Another great show lined up for you today. Kim is back from her world tour around Utah, the state of Utah, and we'll talk about that.
Well, in Colorado and Arizona. I was down there.
And we'll talk more about that later on after we have this exciting exchange of ideas here. So today's show is what's the district number? I've already forgotten the district. 2? It's a district 3. Sorry.
Every time you forget what district it is.
Thank God you're here. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what I'd be doing.
These guys know for sure.
Yeah. So for District 3, and we have 2 Republicans. The primary is August the 20th, and the election is November the 5th. Is it the 5th, the 7th, or 6th?
5th.
November 5th. And so both of these guys are trying to take the seat now occupied by Ray Sandelli. Ray Sandelli's retiring, and we appreciate, hopefully we'll have Ray on one more time before he retires. So the first thing I want to do, unless you want to do something, is...
No, I'm going to go. I'll be right back.
Okay. Can't hear.
Yeah, can't hear.
They can't hear? You could turn that one.
Music back here.
It's going to be too distracting.
Yeah. Okay. See if they can turn the music off. Last week was perfect. We didn't have any music on or anything. Yeah, I could turn that one up. Okay. Why don't we start with what we're going to do? The format is we'll ask a question. If I ask a question of Matt, when I ask the next question, David will start, and then we'll just go back and forth on the questions. And like last week with Greg and Scott, there'll be a question or two specific to them both, and if they want to respond, they can, but they won't have to. So I guess the first thing, we'll start with you, Matt, is tell people that are watching and listening why that you decided to run for county board.
Well, Ed, as I expressed to you once before when I was with you, my wife and I had about 200 women show up at our ranch. They came out and asked me to kind of do this. I ended up going down to the Republican Party, having a conversation with them, going over it with them. And at that point, I made a decision after looking up all the facts of what was going on in the 2 different districts that I have homes in. I made that decision that it was something I needed to do after looking into the facts. I didn't take it lightly. It was something that my wife and I and my kids all had a big conversation about, and my family. So we put the time and effort in to look at it. We made it a point that this is something we need to do because we need to make a change here in this county. We can't continue on going down the same path that we're going down currently.
It's better.
So much better. So here I am.
Okay, so before we get to David, like I've never had 200 women just show up to my door. I mean, where did the 200 women come from? I mean, what was
They're
that all
welcome
about?
to show up at our door, but you have to take him with you.
Yeah. Well, essentially, it's our ranch out in North Fort Myers. They came after Hurricane Ian. I ran around our ranch and all the neighboring properties around us with my tractor, my chainsaw. I cleaned up all the roads for the sheriffs and the fire departments way before the loaders came from the county. And I cleaned up a lot of the neighbors' houses, picking up trees off of their houses, off of their cars, off of their roads, off of their tree. And these are all my neighbors.
Neighbors, yeah. Got you. So no guys, you just live in like a harem of 200 women.
No, there was a few men. There's some
gotcha.
Husbands and boys.
It's not that kind of place where it's one woman and a guy's got 10 wives or 20.
Yeah, you're talking about like a harem? Is that where you're going?
David, your turn. Why are you running? Why are you running?
Well, first, thank you to Margaritaville Resort and Beach Talk Radio for having me today. I'm David Mulicka, and I'm proud to be running to serve as your next county commissioner for District 3. I'm a husband, father, conservative businessman, and I'm running to bring my conservative values and experience to serve you as your next county commissioner.
All right, short and sweet. So the first thing I want to kind of get the negative stuff out of the way and then get into the issues. And Dave, we'll start with you. I don't pay much attention to this, but because I try to talk to or listen to what the candidates are saying, but it seems like there has been some negative stuff going on. And one of the things that people have tried to attach to you is something about dumping. Can you clarify what that was and why they've been doing that and how you've cleared it up?
So, yeah, thank you. That subject is really, it's been asked and answered a couple of times now. So let me clarify. I am a demolition contractor, right? And after the hurricane, I did a lot of work here in Fort Myers Beach and many other places. There was a point after the hurricane where all the scrap yards in town were overly full with steel, aluminum, etc. And I had to temporarily, in order to accommodate those FEMA trailers and things, when Governor DeSantis was here trying to help everybody get put back in their homes, there were some difficult times that everybody went through. And I know we will never forget it, and we all remember these times. But I had to, unfortunately, the scrap yards were full. I had to temporarily bring some materials to my property off of Mulicka Road that were primarily recyclables, aluminum, steel, etc. And I staged those materials temporarily. There was no dumping. There was nothing toxic. I'm going to say it very clearly. There was nothing toxic. There was nothing dumping. There was temporarily stored materials that were then bought and sold to recycling plants here in Lee County. And all the receipts and all of those things have been turned into the authorities to their satisfaction.
So, Matt, are you good with that answer? Does that satisfy the criticism of the
I
dumping?
don't know. There's 300 pages here from the EPA, the DEP. This didn't happen after the hurricane. This took place. They're not. I'm sorry, Jen. I'm not lying. This is the department. You can see it right here. Some of this stuff actually has David's signature on it. This happened in 2016.
What is that stuff? What is that?
It's the Florida Department.
But what does it say? I mean, I can see it's paperwork with names on it, but what are you saying it says?
All the documentation that shows all the different places, the pictures, locations, what was in the soil. It's not aluminum. It's not steel. It's not copper.
So what you're referring to is not something recent. It's something in the past.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This has taken place over the last 8 years. This isn't something that took place just recently, although there is a recent one after the hurricane. And I do concede to some of what he's saying about that one. What I don't concede to is all the other. And the problem is that the carcinogens that are put into the soil that have killed off the fish in the 10-mile canal and other places are in the soil that come from wood products that do not come from metal products. So that's what we're talking about here.
All right. Do you
Go ahead,
want
David.
to rebut?
Absolutely. Again, this is a very cut and dry subject. Everything that was on my property came from someone's home site, a lot of them within a mile of here, okay? We didn't tear down Owens Corning chemical plant. These were residential mobile home trailers primarily that had materials stored there. If there was truly a toxic dumping situation and not a fabrication by people like to make up stories, then there would be a violation from the DEP. There would be. They take that very seriously, as do I. I am an expert in recycling and demolition. I set the bar in Lee County for recyclable materials and not wasting things, disposing and recycling. I am an expert in the subject. There was no toxic waste there at all. There was no dumping at all.
Okay.
Well, I'm
All right.
gonna rebuke that a little bit.
Then we're going to move
I
on.
was we
will.
will. And as a contractor for 40 years in disposing and recycling and demoing of more than 400 tons of materials over 40 years and having a recycle rate of 92% and making sure that zero toxins went into any soils anywhere throughout the United States, wherever I did my projects. I have a clean record with the DEP and the EPA. I have a quadruple A rating with the Better Business Bureau, all of which have said that the entire time that my businesses were open throughout the country, we had a zero toxic rating. and we tore down a lot of stuff. You can't tear stuff down without doing the proper work ahead of time.
Okay. Last word on this. Go ahead.
Just to be clear, okay, 400 tons in 40 years is a speck of material. I handle 400 tons a day from my customers' job sites. I tore down all the buildings here for Margaritaville Hotel. Okay, I did all the cleanup, the emergency cleanup for the Coast Guard. Okay, I know recycling, I know disposal. There was nothing dumped on that property. It's a political fabrication by someone who just moved here a few weeks before they were on the radio show with you last time, who told you 4 years. He said on your show.
All right, we're
I've been
moving
here
on
4
already.
years.
I see. So thank you
About 3.
for
I
that.
can't tell the truth.
So let's talk about the.
Yeah, you can't. Sorry.
Let's talk about the 1 or 2 criticisms that have been levied against you. That you can easily probably clear up this California voting thing, and then the residence thing, which I think you really do need to clear that up for us, because I'm not sure it was accurate on our last show. But start with the easy one. The
Okay,
California
I'm going
one.
to start with the easy one here. You know, this mailer went out by a pack, and this pack is a pack that is a combination of Tallahassee and his wife and a few other folks that are here. And this pack actually sent this out. They didn't do their due diligence. Had they done their due diligence and they had looked into this, what they would have realized is that during 2020, when I was living in Pensacola at the time, we got hit by Hurricane Sally. Hurricane Sally hit us in the second week of September, and I was there cleaning up my house along with extended family and unfortunately a couple of FBI agents that were there with me. And this basically the federal government, the state of California and the state of Florida have all released it. They're saying that it is a complete utter fabrication of a signature. My signature does not match the signature that's actually on that document.
So if we could just back up for a second, the allegation was that you voted repeatedly in California, right? And you're clearing that up.
Well, yeah, the crazy part about it is apparently I left Pensacola. I flew to Northern California. I voted for Biden, and then I flew back, as crazy as it sounds, I flew back to Pensacola to vote for Trump. Gotcha. It makes absolutely no sense.
So, David, are you okay with that answer before we go on to the next one?
Look, I wasn't there. That came from a pack. But what I did see when I did review the records was the violation was presidential voter fraud on a federal level for voting twice in the same presidential election. I don't know why anybody would vote twice, right?
Did you vote twice?
No, I didn't. My question is, so if this comes up and your name's under the same type of scrutiny for doing the exact same thing, what you're saying is it's going to be a false document too then, correct?
No, I'm only speaking about you on this question right now.
I'm asking you.
Because the supervisor of elections in California, where he voted by mail 20 straight years in a row, verified that his signatures were consistent.
No, what the supervisor of elections said, and this is
It's
what
written
she
down.
said.
It's written down.
What she said
in her
verbatim
handwriting
is that 3 out of the 5 markers that the computer scanner looks for matched. The problem is that when we had 6,
Do you want to read back her quote
we had
that she
6
made?
licensed signature experts look at it. The 6 licensed experts that go to federal court to do exactly this said that this signature that was put on the envelope is not my signature unequivocally. And they said it's not even one person. It looks like it's 2 people that made the signature.
So you say you only voted once?
I only voted once, and I only did it in person in Escambia because that year my mail-in ballot got blown away because my mailbox got blown away.
Do you regret?
So
Go ahead.
is this issue settled? Or are you still collecting data to protect yourself and or is it null and void at this point?
No, it's null and void. The state of Florida, the state of California, the federal government, they have no want nor need for it. They said that it's a false signature and that it is not my signature. It's completely over with as far as we're concerned.
Okay, so
Are you saying that you have written testimony from the Department of Justice that they have no more interest in this case? Is that what you just said?
No, you said that I had written. I did not.
Okay.
Because the case is still ongoing.
David, it's not ongoing. It's over.
All right. Next subject is the residency.
Yeah.
Dear, go ahead. You had a question about
So-
this.
To his point, and I was going to ask because I went back when you were on the show. You said you'd been living in Fort Myers Beach. We've been here a few years. Had said how many? You said about 3.
Actually,
Was-
Kim, you asked me Lee County.
Nope, it was Fort Myers Beach.
Well,
So
Lee County,
you can
we've
clear-
been here since,
right.
okay, so Lee County is where we have been here in Lee County between Cape Coral, Fort Myers Beach, and North Fort Myers since 2020. My wife took on a job in 2019. We moved here at the end of 2019 into 2020, and we've been here since.
Into Lee County, but on
Into
the
Lee
beach,
County.
you've been here since how long? On the beach.
On the beach, we've moved into our place on the beach, I don't know, 6-8 months ago,
Okay.
after we got rid of a different house that somebody wanted to buy from us.
So you were not here during the storm, right? You were not living on the beach during Ian, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No, we
okay.
lived in, at that time, we had a house in Cape Coral, and we had the house in North Fort Myers,
Okay.
where we had our other family brought
just-
to.
All right.
Anything on that, David? You're good?
Just to be clear, and everybody on Beach Talk Radio can play it back from the last visit here on May 4th. Matt said, I have been here for 3 or 4 years. They posted on their Facebook page how excited they were when they bought their new house on April 17th, which happens to be my dad's birthday. And the next day, 24 hours later, filed to be a commissioner, a candidate in this race. So April 17th to May 4th on this show is about 17 days. So any reference to the number of years he's had property on the beach district, I think needs to be set straight. And if you can't answer it straight right now and said 6 or 8 months, again, I'm not sure why we can't get a straight answer.
No, you've gotten a straight answer. I mean, the dates that you're talking about are correct. I mean, just as you, 3 weeks after you got served by the DEP for toxic dumping, you went in and registered to be a county commissioner for Lee County. I don't see where the difference is, David. I've got to be honest with you. I don't see the difference.
I stand by my record, and you can't tell the same answer twice in a row.
I stand by my record, and I've given the same answer every time.
All right. So let's start talking about the issues in Lee County. The first one I wanted to ask you guys about was on the other side of the bridge. There's a proposal for a 240-room hotel, a condo unit, hundreds of boat slips. How will you vote on that, Matt?
Well, something of that nature needs to be looked at for the infrastructure first. We need to make sure that we have the infrastructure and have the ability to handle what's going on. Currently, right now, our biggest problem is the infrastructure is failing in Lee County. As we stand right now, we're having a major water problem.
Matt, if we can just stick to the question on this one. The proposal is for a 240-room hotel, a condo unit, 100 boat slips. If it came up in front of your desk tomorrow, how would you vote?
If it came up with no information on it, I'd vote no until I got the information. You got to have the information first.
David, how would you vote?
So just to be clear, I'm glad we're back on issues again, because this is what the voters really care about and what I've been campaigning for the last 13 months to listen and learn from our residents here in Lee County. So thank you for the issue. What I stand for is personal property rights. I will always defend everyone's personal property rights at every opportunity. The staff, by the time it gets to a commissioner vote, just to be clear, Matt, nobody gives you a blank sheet of paper when you vote on.
David, the question was, it's a 240-room hotel, a condo building, and 100 boat slips. How would you vote tomorrow?
If the density and the zoning were all permissible, I would vote yes, because that's our job, is to enforce the rules and the law.
How do you, and I'll start with you now, how do you address the traffic issue from Walmart to that building based on what you see now? How do you fix that?
That is a difficult challenge. And I will tell you, after being here for 56 years, it's a difficult stretch because we're landlocked, right? There's only so many, we can't add any more lanes to the traffic that goes in there. But I will tell you that traffic studies and those issues are part of the submittal during the land use and zoning process. That is part of the analysis that's brought to the commission.
But do you really need a traffic study during season and you have a 240-room hotel in that spot?
Well, or during a hurricane evacuation. How are you going to get people down that little tiny street?
I live here and I drive on the same roads that you have for 50 years. And we have built too little, too late, too often. Okay, we always manage to start it in Thanksgiving on tourist season, it seems. So I know we need to improve a lot of these processes, and I want to build the infrastructure to get ahead of these things for traffic and water supply lines down here.
Okay, so
we've
what
got to
is
have an
the-
evacuation
What is the
route.
infrastructure solution to that road into that hotel?
Well, we have to build the lines. We want them to be on water and county water and sewer, of course, right, to keep the contaminants out of the water. They have to have service. And a lot of times I know that we've negotiated on our properties in the past where we've invested in a portion of the infrastructure up front as a developer as part of the entitlements and things that we were working for. So there's always a give and take when they're asking those applications. And those things are vetted out through staff. There's public input.
Right. But
Okay,
specifically
and-
on the traffic issue, how do you solve the traffic issue getting from
We-
Walmart to that hotel? It's county property, it's county land. How do you fix that? You're going to put a 240 room hotel in that spot, and these people can't even get on the beach now. So how do you fix that?
I don't have a magic silver bullet answer for day one to fix that 5-lane road here that we all struggle with for many, many years. But I will look at how we can expand the flows and things to get out of here to make the roads bigger that it feeds, like Pine Ridge, could be expanded. There's other ways to arterial roads to export people quicker. Maybe there's signalizations or other lanes or turn lanes we can help with.
Yeah.
But I will search for every solution to assist with this because I know it's a real issue. I know everybody cares about, and I will work as hard for the citizens as I possibly can in my capacity to make this happen.
Is that something, those solutions, do they need to be in place before this gets approved? I mean, does there need to be a plan in place before it gets approved, or is it?
You can't tell me a traffic study is going to result in, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. That's the answer.
I am not a traffic science expert, okay, but I know reports are part of the submittals,
Yeah.
and it's part of
Okay.
the review process. And all I can do is rely on those experts that brings testimony at that time and vote within the owner's property rights to try to do the right thing. But I think every good business wants their new facility to be welcomed and a positive thing when they build it, or they wouldn't be in business.
Right. Right. And I know projects can't be approved or denied on traffic. I know that's part of the
Right.
whole thing. So Matt, you want to jump in there and how do you fix the problem, or you're chuckling a little bit, so go right ahead.
Well, I started when you asked me, if it was going to throw it on my desk. Here's the thing: you got to do your research. I know here in Fort Myers Beach, there's been 2 traffic studies. One recent. Quite frankly, I don't know why we even paid for it. When I read the report, the traffic study said basically, there's nothing wrong. It's been this way for so many years. That's not a traffic study. That's a problem. So here's the issue, folks. The problem is that it takes 12 years from inception until completion to get a road taken care of and to get the infrastructure completed. It's not going to be something that if you say today it's going to be put on it, how are you going to take care of this problem? This has to have very many studies taken into consideration before we even put a project of this massive size onto the San Carlos Island. If we're going to do that, then what we need to do is we need to get the studies put in place. We need to actually look at what we're doing, do our research, and make sure that we can do what these folks are asking, and make sure that we can actually produce a way so that we can get not only the residents of this beach island off Estero off the island in the case of a hurricane, but they can also get off of San Carlos Island safely. So what does that mean? That means we're probably looking at a much wider road. We're probably looking at a big infrastructure project that's going to have to take care of. But quite frankly, the road, the FDOT road that you're talking about, is a state road, and the state's going to have to get involved in it. Is it a city issue? No. Is it a county issue? No. Is it a state issue? Yes.
Yeah.
And so what we end up having to do, and it's like I expressed to the mayor here, Dan Ellers, once before, is that there's a problem. The cities aren't talking to the county's not talking to the cities, and the counties are not talking to the state, and then the federal government's not talking to any of them. So there's not a big open communication going on because otherwise you wouldn't have asked the question.
That's not really true. I mean, it was true couple of years ago.
Exactly.
It's less true now.
It is
So
less true.
being that you
true.
brought the mayor up, did you say that he was for dirty water or something, or did you think he was in favor of dumping? I just want to get that straightened out. What did you tell people
my
during the
question
cleanup?
is that if you know somebody is killing off the fish in a 10-mile canal, why would, if you're a Captains for Clean Water, why would you be involved with that individual at all?
Oh, I see.
That's
You're-
my
I
comment.
see. Because he supports David. You were saying he supports dumping. That's kind of
not in.
That's what
in
you were
so
trying
many-
to say.
right? I'm
so
not so
did the
many
people
words.
that you were telling that buy that, or
Well, the 300 pages worth of documentation provides that.
I see.
And
So
it's been widely held that the
all right, I don't want to
documents
get
in
back.
here.
I don't want to get back on
Okay.
that. But go ahead, David. Last word on this.
All right. So what I am proud of, my opponent seems to want to fix a lot of things, but I will tell you that I'm very proud, and I think there's a lot of things that are going right now. You know, as well as I do, because we've all been here for a long time, that the relationship between the commission and the town has not always been nearly as good as it has been lately. Right. And it has been great lately because of leadership from the current office holder, Ray Sandelli, who's done a yeoman's job for the beach and has been here almost on a daily basis since the hurricane. He and Mayor Allers have worked side by side every step of the way. And I don't think communications between the state and the city and the county, the town rather, local, county, and state have ever been better than they are right now. The funding that's been brought home from Tallahassee, the relationship with the county between Ray and Mayor Allers, I think has been phenomenal. And I will tell you, I earned Ray's endorsement right after I filed, and it took some effort because he was pragmatic. He's a thoughtful guy, and I'm proud to say that I got Mayor Allers' endorsement recently because we all want the same thing, and I have been championed to follow in their footsteps to do a good job for the town of Fort Myers Beach, to do everything I can from the county level. So thank you for that.
Go ahead.
Staying on roads, what is the plan for your plan for Estero Boulevard with respect to the sidewalks, the drainage, and getting it back pre-Ian or better than pre-Ian?
Dave, I think I asked you the first. Yeah,
fine
Dave,
with
go
me
ahead.
either
I
way.
mean, this is a simple one anyway. I mean, it's not a
Did
controversial
we already
one.
cover that?
No. Estero
No,
Boulevard.
for Estero Boulevard. For this
right here?
one.
Yes. This, yeah.
Okay.
For the sidewalks.
We want the
and
damn
for the
road
drainage.
fixed, David. We want the damn
and
road fixed.
And the sidewalks are
It's
not in
shit
bad
right now.
shape, but being a biker, and
Yeah.
we'll get to that. There's a couple of sidewalk spots that are still not repaired. But
No.
I think the bigger thing is the drainage.
So I will do everything in my power as a county commissioner to help accelerate or move along those projects. I know a lot of them are ongoing, and some of the federal funding has still been trickling in. So I agree that nothing ever happens as fast as you would like them to be, but there are active plans and steps to do this, and I think it needs to be safe and completed as soon as possible. Much of this, as you know, for the last few years, Mitchell and Stark just replaced most of the infrastructure and the roadways and the sidewalks recently. So a lot of it is pretty new and in pretty good shape, but there are some areas that need to be repaired. And we need to accelerate those.
Yeah. The road's not old enough for those kinds of potholes out there right now. So, but anything to that?
The biggest issue that's going on right now is, with the roads, as I travel up and down them every day, with my wife's new business, the big issue, the flooding is a problem. The center divide, the cobble that they put in there is sinking down. It's creating, waterways where people are getting splashed. I understand that. Some of the newer roads that were put in are undermined and washed a little bit. They need to be repaired. It's going to be a situation to where really what we need to do as a county is we need to get together and work on the road so that the road is a combination of not just an access for vehicles, but an access for EVs, bicycles, and walking when we get done with it. So I think, like I said before, from inception to completion, to get something like this done, it's going to take 12 years. But in the interim, we got to keep, cleaning out the sand out of the drains and stuff so that the drains do drain.
Okay. Hey.
No. I just want to. So what would be your solution? I mean, the road is only so wide. So what are you going to do to get a lane, a bike lane or an EV lane? I mean, what are you going to do
We've already.
What is the idea for that?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I have to give the credit to my wife because she actually took the time to put some thought into this. And what she did was, as we were talking about it and we went through it, and we've been driving up and down the beach. You know, we put thousands of miles up and down this beach and done a bunch of studies with talking to folks. And what we came up with is if you remark some of the roads the way that they're marked currently right now, and you reuse the roadway that we have, we could actually slipstream the traffic through right here through Margaritaville and get it moving all in one direction faster, and still be able to make room for bicycles and EVs and so on.
I apologize.
But all the way down?
I have no idea what you just said. You
So-
slipstream the parking?
No, slipstream the traffic. So in other words, what we're talking about, and one of the things that we brought up before the city council and their engineer looked at it, she was very intrigued and had several conversations with us about,
What was the engineer's name?
oh, I don't remember her name.
Okay.
This has been months ago.
I didn't know the town had an engineer.
No, it's an engineer that they use for traffic studies
I see.
and buildings and stuff
Okay.
here. When we gave it to her, she had a few questions. We talked about it, and there is a feasible idea to do it, but the question is will it work in the way that we originally? It needs some fine tuning, but
So are you
essentially
talking
what it would
about
be.
cutting out sidewalks and making the
No.
bike lane
What we're
bigger, or-
talking about is as the traffic comes off the bridge, once
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
the new roundy round,
I see.
is actually making things around here into a one-way, and then making everybody make a right coming
see.
back north, and then go around through Margaritaville through
I see.
over by the Tiki
I
Bar.
guess no idea is a bad idea when it comes to the traffic on Fort Myers
Correct.
Beach, because it's
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's a work
But
in
how
progress.
would that extend
Yeah.
down? Are you just talking about at the base, or would that extend down?
No,
Okay.
that actually would stop right here at the light underneath the bridge for Margaritaville. So you'd end up with every time that the light turned so that people would walk, people coming north would actually all be turning right and then moving around that way and then moving down through the downtown that way. So it actually gets more traffic through downtown to the vendors through downtown.
okay.
Okay.
All right, so you get elected. I'll start with you, Matt. You get elected, and your number one priority is Fort Myers Beach. You're going to go to those other four guys, and you're going to, well, they are going to be guys. There's no chance there's no chance there could be. Well, unfortunately, there's no chance there could be. Why aren't women running for county board? Damn it!
I think there's one Democrat.
That wasn't the
Kizzy, that's
question.
running.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to disparage anybody, but you know, a Democrat has no chance in this county. So the question I have for you: you're going to get in front of those guys, and you're going to say, this is my number one priority for Fort Myers Beach. Like Larry Kiker did, you know, he went after something and he convinced everybody. What is the one thing that you're going to say? I can't finish my question.
No, I
What-
just want you to start. He just finished one. Let him finish.
we,
one.
we start at different
Okay.
points, dear. We don't
All right.
finish at different points. And so you're going to say, okay, this is what I
David
need.
and I should sit next to each
No,
other. I think
that's
you
all
guys.
right. That's all
This
right.
this is what I need you guys to rally around. I need to bring
Keep
home
them
this.
separated.
I need to bring home this
That's all-
bacon
that's
to Fort Myers Beach.
normal.
What is it, Matt?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we need here in Fort Myers Beach, number one, is definitely, besides the rebuilding, we need to get the flow of traffic through here a little eased and
You got to be
taken
more
care of.
specific, though. We know that. What is it? What is your? So you have a plan for that. You're going to shove this plan in front of Kevin Rowan, and he's going to jump for joy for it.
Well, the plan's never going to be completed at this
I know,
point
12
right
years.
now
I know,
because it's
12
going to
years.
take 12 years. But the idea is to put multiple plans in place so that we start a timeline and have a finish line so that by the time we're done in the X number of years, let's say it takes 12 years.
Yeah.
At the end of 12 years, we have the beach rebuilt. We have the mound up. We have
What's a mound? What mound?
The mound for the sand,
The
for
berm?
Yeah, the berm.
The berm's
Mound.
up.
Yeah, well, they're working on it.
Yeah. Well, the berm is up. The renourishment is underway. But
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all that's completed so that at the end of the day, when we're all completed
Yeah.
up and down the beach, that's the finish date. It's going to be a constant change as we go through it.
So your answer to me is, I'm going to reconfigure Estero Boulevard so the traffic is better. Is that what you're saying? That's what's going to get the other four people jazzed up.
Well, that and infrastructure down here to take care of it.
But you don't really have any say in the infrastructure down here. You have zero say.
Well, actually, since Fort Myers Beach gets its water
Oh, so
Not
you're going to hold the
from-
water back?
No, not they. We can't hold the water back. But we need things
I know.
like
All right.
water
I get
and
it.
sewer and stuff
Gotcha.
that needs to be built up and brought in better.
So
David, go ahead. Your
What would-
answer is what's going to get
you might have to repeat the question.
what's
dear.
going to get Cecil Pendergrass all giddy when you bring him back a project for Fort Myers Beach? I love Cecil. He's our representative in Gateway.
No, Cecil's great. Kevin's great. I think they're all doing a great job. So I think from the county level, you've got to be able to work with others and build consensus to get the votes you need to champion your projects for your district. But everything that we do at the county level and the county commissioner votes, when all 5 votes are cast, they are cast for the entire county. The town is very well represented right now with a great mayor and a great council and a great town manager. So we have feedback and local representation from the beach. From the county level, I think there are some things that I can personally make a big impact with my experience as a contractor
On Fort Myers
and a marine
Beach, what is
contractor.
it? What is
that
it?
pier out there.
Oh,
I have a very strong background in permitting and DEP and Army Corps permitting for the Army Corps of Engineers. We worked through Save the Manatees, Manatees Don't Kill Boat Dock, Sawfish, other things over the years. And I know there's ways to phase permitting and phase the construction
all right.
options.
So now
So
that
do
you,
you
But
think
because
do you think you
that
could
is a
get it through
magnet.
faster?
That is I'm not saying I have a magic thing, but I have found ways to navigate those channels, to find exemptions, to find other paths,
wait,
to
okay.
be pushy.
So-
right?
Yeah,
so
but the
hold
permit's
on.
already been approved.
Right. So
If we can get the
specifically-
permits faster, we can get the
specific-
construction done faster.
specifically about the pier. Right now, there won't be a ribbon cutting until I'm dead in 2030. So are you guaranteeing that it'll be open in 2029 or 2028? I mean, put your balls on the line here. I mean, put something out
It
there.
better not take that long.
It's-
If I have anything to do with it, it shouldn't take that long.
Well, okay, we'll make a guarantee here. Make a promise to the people on Fort Myers Beach. Go right ahead. Nobody watches. Go right ahead. I mean, if you're going to say it, then say it.
I'm saying it.
Say
I
it.
will do everything in my power with all the resources and experience that I have to do everything I can to shortcut or streamline the permitting process, to accelerate that, the procurement process, the construction process, to get that pier rebuilt as soon as possible. I think there's opportunity there, and I have experience in that field. Hunts Marine's been in business
Yeah.
for nearly 70 years now. We pull permits for a living, and I think the team they have right now is doing a good job, but I'm going to ask the right questions to get the right answers for the citizens of Lee County and Fort Myers Beach, for one of the biggest economic magnets we have, to get put back in place as soon as possible.
I have to be honest.
I guarantee you that effort.
I have to
from
be
me
honest. I have to be
today.
honest with you both. The people on Fort Myers Beach are going to be totally disappointed with both of those answers, that you didn't have something that you were ready to push through for the residents of Fort Myers Beach. I mean, yeah, I don't think the pier, it does mean something to the people on the beach, but it's not their number one priority. I just think that there could have been something more for feeling like that you're representing the people on Fort Myers Beach. I mean, the pier is an easy target. I mean, it's a Lee County project. And so if there was something else,
We're running for Lee County Commission. You
yeah,
know,
I understand that, David. But my point is, it could have been something else. It could have been something new. It could have been something that, would have been like, oh, light up the eyes of the residents of Fort Myers Beach. And again, I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know shit. So, I mean, I could be wrong. You could be right about the pier.
You're often wrong, but I don't know on this subject.
So it's just
I
another
assure you,
non-answer.
I care deeply about all the residents of the town of Fort Myers Beach.
No doubt.
They-
No doubt.
They already have representation at the local level. I'm trying to shore it up with additional support from the county level, and that's a guarantee.
All right, dear, do you want to? I want to get into the. Go ahead.
Do you
Your
want to
turn.
ask about Crescent?
Well, yeah. Let's go ahead.
That's it. So what is your vision for that park? And do you agree with putting AstroTurf on it?
Yeah. Well, I think I don't remember who started, but go ahead, Matt. I think David started the last one. Go ahead.
We're gonna
We're
cover
looking right out the window, Crescent
We're
Park.
gonna cover our beautiful sand with AstroTurf.
So that is a no from you.
That would be a no for me. I
And so
like
what
I like
would-
the
you would
fact that
leave
they
the
do
sand?
the volleyball out here. I think it's great. I think they should make more tournaments and stuff going on out here.
So you would keep it as sand and volleyball.
Yes, ma'am. I would.
Okay.
David, the AstroTurf thing is really, I mean, I don't know where that came from. Like when I saw
So-
the two proposals, it was kind of weird.
So I will tell you the ecological answer to that is that You don't want to put all the phosphorus and other things in the fertilizer and things from natural grass. There was some concern about those other nutrients that everybody's trying to keep the waterways clean from Okeechobee and all those other same subjects. That was part of the discussion for natural versus artificial turf.
I don't mean any grass. I mean, why do you, I mean, look at how nice it looks just the way it is now. And there are people that set up their own volleyball courts. I didn't think people played volleyball anymore, but there were people like those aren't county courts. There aren't county courts. People come in and set those courts up. But I mean, do we really need AstroTurf covering the sand? Not even regular grass, but it's AstroTurf. What is the thought process behind? And you didn't vote for this, so I'm not picking on anybody. It's just like, why are they putting AstroTurf down? Let people put their towels down.
Well, the thing I don't understand, I mean, as we're looking out the window, there's a volleyball net out there. I mean, we do see tournaments down here, pretty regularly for volleyball. I mean, from my standpoint, I think it would be better if they just raked it and kept it going for volleyball tournaments and other types of tournaments. I think putting something down there like AstroTurf and more concrete or anything else that they're going to put is going to make a bigger disaster for us on the next hurricane or the next, event that's going to happen. I think it's just best left alone, leave the sand where it is. Let's try to keep things natural here. We're at the beach.
And put something down that's going to help keep the sand, if you're going to leave it sand, to protect it so it stays there.
Dear, are you running for county board or are we asking questions? I mean, come on. So so we're done with that one.
Yeah.
They should make it a pickleball court if we're going to be honest
about
what you want to get it from
up.
you. So
can we have sand pickleball?
More pickleball.
Can we do sand pickleball? Is there such a thing?
I don't think that's going to work.
So another issue that's going on now is the South Seas issue on Captiva. It seems like there's a bunch of people on Sanibel and Captiva that do not want South Seas to be able to increase their density. And it also seems like if you listen to SCCF and Sanibel Council, that the Lee County Board is getting ready to railroad some new density over there. If you guys were on the county board now, David, you first, would you have voted the way they voted to increase? Not saying the vote has been officially passed, but would you vote to increase the density on Captiva? Yes or no?
So just to be clear, the commissioners voted to allow South Seas to apply for something new. They didn't vote to approve it. It has not been brought before them yet for approval. So all the commission did was allow them to have a presentation to make the case. Now, whether it says yes or no has yet to be decided and vetted out on the plans, which I haven't seen to see exactly the numbers of the increase.
All right, so let me rephrase my question then.
Sure.
If a vote came in front of you that did increase the density on Captiva, would you vote yes or no?
If it was within the zoning permitting regulated guidelines, it is my duty to vote on behalf of the property owner's rights accordingly.
So
yes.
If it goes above the 912 units, which is in the agreement, that was 30 years ago.
Just to be clear, Ed,
yes or no?
Whatever they ask for, whether it's more or less, has to be vetted and has to be approved. And they have to be very deliberate and thoughtful in their approach. And they're trying to get from what I understand, they've had community meetings and involvement and feedback. And from those things, the feedback in the community, I think, is vital. So they have input, and a lot of times those affect the final design. And when that's put before me, what I'll tell you is I will review it word for word, page by page, and make a decision
David,
that is in the best interest of the county.
I kind of feel like you're going around, beating around the bush.
I'm not. I don't have a yes or no plan in front of me, Ed.
Oh, come on, man. You see what's going on with Sanibel and Captiva and the way those people feel about what's coming down the road. It's so easy for people to say, I haven't seen the final plan yet. Would you vote? Why did Kevin Rowane is dead set against it? He's dead set against it. So where would you stand if it went above 912? Is it a yes or a no above 912?
If that number falls within the approved guidelines, I'm going to vote yes, because that's my requirement as a county commissioner.
It's not a requirement.
It is, because if you take away someone's property rights that don't exist,
then why would Kevin Rowane vote no?
And then you get sued.
Then why would Kevin Rowane vote no?
The county gets in a lawsuit if you vote to give somebody less than they're entitled to. And we've lost lawsuit after lawsuit with taxpayer dollars every time we have not followed those guidelines.
So then back it up a bit. Would you vote to increase the zoning so they were allowed to get more density? Yes or no?
That's what the issue is.
If the application was within the acceptable guidelines and guidance of the regulations, then I would. I mean, it's got to be higher. Everything's got to have to be redone
No
out
doubt.
there. I mean, it's
No doubt.
nothing's going to be the same as it always was. And anytime anything changes, people always get uncomfortable. I understand that, and I respect that. I think they should be as thoughtful and minimalistic in any increases that they ask for as possible. But I'm not them. I'm not the one driving this. I'm not the one. All I'm going to be is the one responding to what is brought before me.
Gotcha.
So I hope that they're thoughtful and bring take into consideration all the feedback they get from the community so that the final design is more palatable as much as they possibly can.
What do you say to the residents of Sanibel and Captiva right now? You see that they're furious. They're up in arms about what may come down. What do you say to them?
I'm saying I hope that your feedback is being considered in the final design and plans for the submittal, and I hope you like the next set of plans brought before you more than the ones you saw last year that you were so upset about. I think that's how the process should work. Everybody wants to be heard, and we should find a middle ground to make things as palatable as possible for the greater good. I believe that to be the case.
Gotcha.
So they should be heard.
All right,
The
fair
developer
enough.
should be thoughtful, and I think the final design should be as palatable as possible.
Yes or no, Matt? You voting yes or no? I think.
No, I'm asking, can I give the same non-answer?
Well, that
Okay,
was
so
that was a
here's
low
the-
blow.
Here's the
His answer was yes, man. That wasn't a non-answer. His answer was if
Come
he
on
gets
now.
the right plan. That's the way I read it.
Here's the reality to it.
I think that's the
is
way the
that,
people on
yes, the
Sanibel are
county
gonna read it.
commissioners have a lot of say in what can and cannot be done. They have to listen to the community ahead of time, and they have to look at the infrastructure ahead of time. The biggest problem you're going to have in pushing this through with the state of Florida and pushing it through with the county is that you have the Sanibel Bridge that has to be able to take the amount of traffic that it needs to take in case we have an event. Is that bridge and is that roadway? Because now you're combining the traffic from Fort Myers Beach with Sanibel, and you're trying to get all those people off of the islands and get them to someplace safe. So that's going to be the number one thing. The number two thing is going to be, is there enough water? Well, since there are no wells on any of the islands, this water has to be pumped in from where? It has to be pumped in from the mainland. And where's that water coming from? Well, that water's all coming from North Fort Myers and the deep wells that are out there around the land out there that they're trying to put a bunch of houses and now a Walmart on.
Mhm.
You know, the bigger question here is that if we do this, we have to look at it as a bigger picture. Does it meet the requirements? I do agree with Dave on that. If it meets the requirements and it meets what the county has already set in place,
So
then you don't have a choice. You kind of have to, but you do have other laws that you can look at here in the state of Florida to ensure that it is done in a
If you
responsible
left-
way.
if
Would you vote for a change in the code to allow them to then come forward and ask for that, which I don't think the height is the biggest issue
the
for folks
density.
out there.
It's the
the
density.
density.
It's a density, yeah.
So would you be in favor of changing the code to allow a development, whatever, to
Increase
increase
the
its
density.
density on a barrier island?
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put it this way. And you just said Barrier Island. You know, somebody gave me some feedback on that the other day. These are all barrier islands, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you for the lesson.
I mean, it could be anywhere.
Didn't know that one.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing. If you give the density increase to this development, then you have to give it to each development afterwards as
Yes.
they each go through.
So
So
what's
would
the
you
answer?
do that?
What's your
Well,
answer?
so that's the point. What we have to do is we have to look at how many potential developments would be able to be put on Sanibel Island or Captiva, and how much traffic would be able to get off the island. Once you've done those studies, then you can start looking at that. But
Matt,
neither David nor
Matt.
I, hang on a second, neither David or I have seen any of these studies.
But
And so
Matt,
you'd have to look
So
at those ahead of
Can
time.
we do a little bit of a hypothetical here? If the
The
zoning,
answer would be no, unless it works.
Yeah. Have you been
Okay.
on Sanibel when, in season trying to get off there?
Yes, I have.
It's
Several times.
a difficult deal.
So,
It-
On
it's a
all of
problem.
these barrier islands.
so
Correct.
same question as I asked David. What do you want to tell the people of Sanibel, the council in Sanibel, the residents of Sanibel, the residents of Captiva who are up in arms over what's coming down the pike about this possible change? What do you say to them?
Vote for me. The answer is going to be no.
All right, fair enough. Can we move on, dear? Or you're squinting?
No, I was going to say, when the county was hearing public comment, we were talking about that. Do you think the county listened to the public that came up and gave comment when this South Seas thing was going through?
They sure listened, but they didn't vote the way that the
Well,
public comment
you
went.
know, here's the thing. I think the answers are already preset in their heads ahead of time of what they're going to answer before they come in. Do I actually think they're actually listening to the people in there? I can't say they are, and I
So
can't
you
say they're
think they
not.
came in already with their minds made up?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay.
Any final thoughts on that, David? No?
On this subject?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I respectfully disagree that the commissioners come in with a preconceived notion or preconceived vote. You've got to take the information that's brought before you, read the studies, the layers of process that happens before you get to that vote have to be considered. And they will be, and I certainly will.
Okay. So single member districts has become a thing that some people in the state delegation are pushing. Not everybody in the state delegation, but some are. David, your turn to start. You in favor of single member districts or not?
So I am not in favor of single member districts. I am proud of the fact that all of Lee County gets to vote for all of their commissioners right now. And I think that's vitally important that you have 5 votes for your 5 commissioners and you don't get disenfranchised and lose 4 out of 5 of your choices for who represents you in Lee County government. Because when they sit before you on the dais, all of those decisions are made on behalf of the entire county. I am proud that I run and serve in my daily life and my business in all 4 corners of the county. I have been here from the beginning. If you have not been part of that process, that growth, that experience and perspective from the voters in Lehigh to the voters in Bonita to Boca Grande and back over here to Sanibel, Captiva and the beach, if you don't understand, listen, and learn from them and their perspectives, how can you vote as a whole to be one of the 3 deciding votes that makes something happen on behalf of Lee County? So I want everybody in Lee County can vote for me, and I hope they will. But I want you to know that when you call, wherever you live, I will live to serve you. And I'm proud that I live in District 3. I have actually lived here. I can tell you the date that I bought my house in District 3
all right.
was November 10th of 2010.
Back to
You're
the
getting
house
off,
thing
Bob.
again.
Do you think
Dear,
5 is enough?
dear.
I am
I'll
proud to be serving Lee County. I live in
5?
District 3.
You think
5's
5 is
enough?
enough?
5?
I think the current system we have is not broken. Wherever I travel, wherever I've campaigned, everybody has been happy with the current service of the government. Nobody's asking for a solution to a problem that doesn't exist.
Matt Thornton, what is your single member district answer?
Well, my first thing is to all state representatives and individuals here in Lee County. I respectfully say to all of them, this is a Lee County issue. If the voters of Lee County want it, let them vote on it without any outside interference from people outside of Lee County. Whether you live here in Lee County and you work as a state official, this should be something that's handled by the voters of Lee County and only Lee County. So
what would your vote be?
I disagree with what's going on with this right now. I think that if the voters of Lee County come together and they say, let's put it on, which is the next step, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the ballot. It shouldn't be coming from people outside of Lee County. Shouldn't be coming from our reps.
Right. But how would you vote? What's your opinion on?
Personally, I think it's a
5?
bad idea.
Okay.
I like the fact that my vote counts not only for District 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that I have a say. I think that if you break it down into 5 different districts and you break it down into 5 different people, you're going to have basically the same kind of Senate, Congress that we have going on in the federal government, where nobody gets along and everybody's fighting for dollars and nobody's really being held responsible, because whether it be myself or it be somebody else, I'm fighting for the beach areas and the Outer Bank Islands here to get as much money as I can to get our projects taken care of. And now I got somebody in District 5 that's doing the same thing. We're all fighting for that pot of gold to get those dollars, whereas now I have to work to not only balance what I'm doing for the Outer Bank Islands and the beaches, as well as what's happening inland.
Just a little bit of inside baseball on that issue. The Lee County does have a commission that discusses this, but they're appointed by the county reps. They're not elected. I'm not saying anything as nefarious is going on, but nobody, until the last few weeks, nobody even knew this commission existed. I mean, so I think it should be. I love when the voters decide. Like, unfortunately, they're probably going to pass pot this coming November, and it's going to smell everywhere on this beach. But I mean, when the voters decide, I think the voters should be educated on what the single member district is. I love Cecil. I don't want that to change, but he's not going to be there forever. So kind of on the fence on the thing. But I do think the voters should be able to decide. And the county is never going to put this on the ballot. Never. So, I mean, sometimes when the state gets involved.
But Ed, we have a charter in place with processes
I know.
that the voters chose.
Okay.
The voters chose
David,
the
nobody,
charter,
but
and we have a process in place.
I
and every committee,
David, come on, man.
Every committee the commission appoints is appointed by the commissioners.
I stick my nose in politics, and I didn't even know there was that kind of commission. I
and
mean,
he's got a big nose.
I'm just saying. You know,
Did you just call out his nose?
That's my point is.
Ago. It's all right.
I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I think it's an interesting discussion. I think the voters should get educated somehow on the single member district thing and let them decide. I mean, right now
do you think every area gets equal representation?
No,
because,
they don't.
Well, I wasn't really asking you because I know what your answer is. I was really asking these two gentlemen. Do you think all of the areas?
Well, let's be specific. Lehigh feels like it doesn't get equal representation.
Are you answering?
I mean, that's what we're talking about. North Fort Myers and Lehigh.
I think what she's asking, and here's my answer to that. I think that there is too much focus on the population centers, Cape Coral and Fort Myers, and that's where most of this comes from. Does Lehigh get enough representation? Absolutely not.
There's a lot of population out there.
Is there enough, put into what's going on at Alva and Olga? Absolutely not. These people are screaming mad right now, and nobody seems to care. They're up in arms, and nobody seems to care. It's the same thing with out here at the beach. These poor people out here are just trying to get their lives back together, but they get representation. But it's not the representation they need. They need better representation down here at the beach, and people that are here every day talking to them and having conversations with them and having the time to deal with what's happening, not only here, but what's happening in inland. And it has nothing to do with Cape Coral, and it has nothing to do with Fort Myers.
David,
okay,
I want to ask you a specific question about single member district. Single member district may be a way to break the cycle of the same people in the machine always winning. It's hard for somebody that's not. I mean, Terry Miller is here. He's got all winners. He picks winners all the time, and almost seems
nobody
like,
picked me for this candidacy, Ed. So I'm going to just.
Did I say
that's a bad choice of words?
All right.
Well, they pick winners because they do this kind of garbage.
I chose to take this opportunity to serve.
Okay, but he is your consultant, right?
He is my campaign manager, but I am the candidate. So I am the one running for office.
What I'm saying is he usually picks winners. He doesn't pick a lot of losers.
Oh, I think he's got great taste, but I'm saying I made the decision myself to run.
So my point is, maybe if Lehigh has a single member district or Fort Myers Beach, they have one person that can really rally the troops in that area to run. What's wrong with that?
So one of my answers to that is, the larger population centers, like the 6 cities we have right now, give another layer of local representation. And I heard Matt talk about the Fort Myers Beach not being represented as they should be. And if I was a current mayor or councilman, I'm not sure I'd like the sound of that, but because I think they're doing a great job. But to backstop that at the county level is part of our responsibility. Lehigh has got an exploding population right now. They may choose to seek incorporation to have more local representatives as well. But I will tell you, I'll take a phone call from Lehigh as well as a phone call from Estero, because I serve the entire county, right? They've got everybody has to live in their district they run for. So they've got their point person. They also have to have any decision that's made in Lee County takes 3 or more votes to pass. So a single member district, when you only have 1 vote, if you live somewhere and you can't sway your commissioner to vote your way for your project, who are you going to call next? The person you don't vote for to get the other 2 votes?
I don't know. I just think it's an interesting discussion. I don't know what the right answer is.
It is.
I think the voters should decide, and
Yeah.
however
I
that gets on the
completely
ballot,
agree.
however that gets on the ballot, it should get on the ballot. But so this is one that Mayor Allers is really pushing for. So I want to get your opinion on this. He wants tolls on the. No, he doesn't. I'm just kidding. What did you
Dan
guys?
wants toll roads?
What do you guys think about putting toll booths on on each bridge, so that Lee County can really take more money from the people into their overstuffed coffers as it is? No, really. Do you have any opinion on whether there should be tolls on the 2 bridges?
No.
You don't have an opinion, or your answer
Or
is
your
no?
answer is no, or you don't have an opinion.
My answer is no.
Okay.
I do not want them.
Matt, you want a toll? I think you should move it back to Prescott or right before your house, so you have to pay every
you
time.
know what I'm thinking? What I'm thinking is maybe we need to move it just outside of Fort Myers, and we
Sure.
can get everybody to pay tolls down at that end, so the people at the beach can have free reign around here. No, I think putting toll up is a ridiculously crazy idea here.
By the way, before we got 3 or 4 more questions. If anyone has any questions in the audience or on Facebook, Greg, do you have any questions? I know you. Yes, we do need you to come up though and use the microphone. So, and if you guys, we have the video, we can send it to you if you wanted to. But go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to know who the registered agent of Just
Say
the
your name so
Oh.
everybody knows.
Denise Nystrom. I would like to know who the registered agent is of Just the Facts Pack, who's been pitting out the hit pieces on Matt Thornton. And by the way, is that person also somebody's campaign manager?
I don't know the answer to that. Do you want to answer that, Terry? Come on up, Terry. Terry Miller, everybody.
Funny, I'm not the one running for office here, but I'll be glad to answer that question. The registered agent, I believe.
Perfect.
There you
I just
The
want them to
registered
be able
agent, I
to see.
believe, his name is Emmett Mitchell. I am the chairman. I am not the registered agent. So to answer your question, yes,
All right,
I
no
am the
yelling
chairman.
from the audience.
I am the chairman of Just the Facts. Yeah, I am his campaign manager. Anything else?
I'll let you know.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you,
here.
Terry.
If you got any. Okay.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks,
Boy,
Terry.
that was awkward. Greg, you got a question? Greg Skasny, everybody, running for Fort Myers Beach. No yelling in the audience, please.
Yeah, no yelling. So,
Greg,
my
get on
question,
the camera.
Oh,
here
I'm
so
sorry.
people
Get the
can
camera.
see.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Say your
Okay.
name.
My name is Greg Skasny. I am running for town council here in Fort Myers Beach. I want to know what you guys are going to do to help. Fort Myers Beach contributes a ton via the bed tax to the TDC funding for the county. Let me finish my question. What will you guys do to assure that that funding comes back to Fort Myers Beach in a timely fashion? We're trying to rebuild. I want to make sure that what we're contributing to the county and those TDC funds are coming back to the beach. What are each of you going to do to assure that those funds come back to the beach in a timely fashion to help us get done what we need to get done? Thank you.
Greg Skasny, go ahead.
Let
Go
me.
ahead, Matt.
A couple of things. Let's dispense with alphabet soup. The TDC is basically our tax dollars that we get from what's going on down here for rentals. The bed tax, I think, was the other thing that you discussed. The bedroom tax
It's
for
all,
the rentals.
It's all the same. It's
Well,
all
it's
the
kind
same.
of
Yeah, it's all the
right,
same.
right.
Yeah.
So there's essentially two big areas besides the Outer Bank Islands here and Cape Coral. Those are your 2 big centers of where all these taxes are coming from.
What
And
do you
what
mean?
they're
What,
trying to
what
see-
Outer Banks? What are you talking about?
The Outer
Banks?
Bank Islands here.
You're talking about the beach?
Well, the beaches, the Barrier Islands,
Oh, okay,
Sanibel,
gotcha,
the Outer
gotcha.
Bank Islands, up and down here.
All right.
That's
So-
where most of this money's coming from.
Yeah.
What he's asking is,
Most of it's
can
coming
we
from
get
right
this
here.
right back? Right. It's
Yeah,
coming
well,
right
he's
here.
asking, what are you going to do,
To
or
make
he's
sure
going
more
to
of
do
it
to get
comes
it
back.
back?
Yeah.
So what would
Go
you
ahead.
do?
Well, there's accountability for every dollar that is taken in by the county.
Yep.
And that money has to be returned in a percentage to each area.
No,
So,
not true.
well,
Not true.
you
It has
can't.
to be spent on specific issues within the rules of the VCB and the TDC. There's
I
no
get-
percentage that goes back to any
what I'm
municipality.
saying, okay, if you took all the money that came from Cape Coral
Yes.
and you combined it with all the money that comes from, let's say Fort Myers Beach, right?
Yes.
Okay. And let's say that there's an equal amount between the two.
Yeah.
Let's say there's $1,000 over here, $1,000 over here. So it's a 50-50, right?
No, it's not right.
It's not right. So
it's
you get Cape Coral's money.
You got to put in an application for a specific project, and
Well,
the county decides.
So you're getting to my point.
Oh, I am.
It is a percentage. You're going to get a percentage of what the money is that's
Man,
in there.
If the town of Fort Myers Beach never asks for money, they're never getting a dollar. All the projects, they could ask for more money than they put in, and the county could say yes.
They could, absolutely.
And the county could
that's
say
what I'm
yes.
saying. But
So it's not money in, money out. That's not right.
Well, it is money in, money out.
It's not
Well,
the same.
whether it's in or out, what are you going to do to get it here?
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Sorry. I just want to get it. I'll take yours. Yours better. So quick follow up. So here's it says 2019, Fort Myers Beach has contributed $24 million to the TDC funds. Since then, we've received, and it's not just Fort Myers Beach, really, this is Lover's Key, 14 million back, right? So this beach, 24 million since 2019, we've got 14 back. What I'm asking you guys is, what are you going to do to help balance that and get more of that money back to help improve our beach since we are contributing so much? Those are the real numbers. So that's what I want to hear.
Okay, now it's making a little more sense. So ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to get the projects put together, and we have to discuss what the mayor's going to need, what the city's going to need, and their requests, so that we can put those money back into where they're coming from. And I do agree with what he's saying. If $24 million came out, we do need to get $24 million back here.
All right, David, go ahead on the TDC.
So I think it's a fair question, but every project that applies for TDC funds has to have its own goals and its own merits. So it's not just the dollar amount of what dollar for dollar projects that people ask for. It's what's most necessary and most effective to use those dollars for. And there are competitions and evaluations that go with those projects. I do think the money should be scaled and balanced as fairly as possible, but the beach it gets a lot of attention and a lot of those funds back because they generate a lot of those funds. But right now they're not contributing a lot because they're gone, right? So they're going to be in a position of being not a donor state here for a little while, but I think those applications and those projects need to be funded and in consideration with the revenue that they provide. I think that makes sense. I initially heard the question as a timing issue, that there may be a roadblock in some process where the money was allocated to them and just not funded, or budgeted for them and not funded, is the way I heard it the first time. But if there's a way to streamline that process, then we should certainly.
And that he's absolutely right. I mean, basically what's happening is that we don't have the influx of money because of so many houses that have been destroyed and so many, condominiums and hotels, etc. So that money is decreased, but still it's incumbent upon the county to make sure as these projects come forward to look and prioritize them as to the greatest need.
So are you saying that whatever money the beach contributes, they should get all of that back? Like dollar for dollar?
That'd be sweet.
That would be sweet. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they should get the lion's share of it back. Yes.
Okay.
So, David, we'll start with you. Grade County Manager Dave Harner.
Well, I hate this question.
A to F.
Dave Harner, County Manager. I think I give him an A. I think he's an A for effort, an A for experience, an A for leadership.
Matt, Grade County Manager Dave Harner.
Yeah, I like Dave Hunter. I agree. I would give him an A.
All right, grade Matt, you first. The Lee County Commission, A to F. How are they performing?
Well, you already asked me this one. That's a loaded question again.
I asked that one today.
No, you asked it last time I was on with you.
Let's get an update.
Of everybody.
Let's get an update on that question.
It could have changed since last time.
It's improved a little bit. Some of the same council members have not been showing up for whatever their reasons are.
Commissioners.
Some of the some of the people.
Wait, who's not showing up? Who
Well,
wasn't showing up? Who did I miss?
Since I'm at every one of the council meetings.
Are you saying he's not?
Commission.
No. Well, commissioners.
Yeah.
Commissioner
that's the job we're
didn't
running
show
for.
up for a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greenwell?
Greenwell.
Oh.
Yeah. He didn't show up.
So
Ray
what's
didn't,
the, so
Ray
what's your
didn't show up for the last two. So
what's your grade for the county commission? A to F.
overall, I'm about a C right now with them.
And with you there, it'll be an A, right?
I'm hoping to improve the curve. Yeah.
Yeah. So David, A to F, county commission.
I give our Board of County Commissioners an A. I think they work well together. I think they communicate. I think they're effective. I think they're compassionate, and they show good leadership for the entire county.
Okay. Anybody else in the audience? I saw somebody had a question in the back row there. Anyone have questions or anybody else? Any issues that you guys, dear, did you have
There's
something
one
else?
more
ahead.
more
Go ahead.
question that came in because we had people write in questions. All right. So for each of you, what is your position on the county's Conservation 2020 land acquisition program? And do you support acquiring additional land throughout the county for green spaces and public access? Go ahead.
Good. That's easy. Yes, I support County Commission 2020, Conservation 2020. We've preserved and enhanced a lot of very vital areas of the county with that program and project. I think a lot of the residents have had places to go and enjoy and explore that show our natural heritage of the community. And I think it's an important program, and I'm 100% behind it.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's something that's very needed. Since John's been out of the council, the county has not done as much with green areas and parks.
Wait, back up. Can you, since John's been
John
out?
Alapino.
Who?
Years ago.
Oh.
Years ago.
Albion.
Yeah. We have not had the amount of parks and green areas and walkways put out by the county since he's been gone. As he did, but he was also a champion for this. This is one of his big things. So I think we have a little catch up to do. And I think that we do need to have more green spaces. And I do believe that we need to have more parks put out, but I think the parks that we need to put out are parks that are bigger parks that are more family oriented for families to go out and do things. We don't need food trucks. We don't need all this other stuff. It's more about, like when we were all kids, you go down to the park. What did you do? You play football.
Okay.
Playground, that kind of thing.
Stickball.
Yeah, kickball.
I think you had a. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave.
Frank Mann Park
Frank Mann, yeah.
is
Yeah. Oh, Frank Mann.
right. A wonderful,
Memories.
great guy, wonderful guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of infrastructure and a lot of development to enhance the new park named after him. So I think we're actively promoting and doing those things now. Nothing went away for the last 20 years. It's been ongoing and continuing very, very nicely.
All right. So, David, we'll start with you and wrap things up. Why should people vote for you for Lee County Commission?
So thank you. Again, my name is David Mulicka, and I'm proud to have the opportunity to earn your vote on August 20th as your next county commissioner right here in District 3. I've been a lifelong father, husband, resident, conservative businessman here in Lee County. I love Lee County. I had a wonderful life growing up here. I want to preserve that for the generations to come. I'm raising a 7th generation Lee Countyan right here with my son Hunter, and I want to keep this special community paradise for all those that come after us. We live in the best county in the best state in the union, and I'm excited to serve you. Wherever you live in Lee County, I will work hard for you. I've been proud of my reputation. I'm proud of my word, and you have my word that if you so elect me, I will work hard every day as your county commissioner to serve your best interests. So thank you for this opportunity, Beach Talk Radio.
Thank
and
you,
thank
David.
you, Margaritaville.
Thank you. Matt, why should people vote for you for Lee County Commission?
Well, I'm coming into this position with no baggage whatsoever. I've retired as a contractor after 40 years with a company that did very, very well. I have worked within the United States as a whole as a contractor. I've worked with all the different levels of government, all the way from the DOD all the way down to cities, and dealt with all of them on a regular basis. I've written contracts for them. I've actually done contracts for them. I come into this with a very small learning curve and with the background in education to be able to do this. I don't have any outside interests. All the money that's coming for my campaign has come from within Lee County. It is not dollars that are coming from PACs outside of Lee County. They are not PACs that have come from other states. So this is a grassroots. This is local. This is put in for me to be here to handle the city problems with the county. My big issue is when I get done and I'm in here, I'll have a place that people can come talk to me here at the beach. I'll have a place in Fort Myers, and I will also have a place out in North Fort Myers so that all of my constituents throughout the county will have an ear to go for me to have chewed on because they have problems and they have issues, and I'm not going to hide.
All right.
I'm going to be out in it like I am every day here at the beach.
You can't ask
Okay.
any more questions?
No, I'm not.
Oh. Thank you. Big hand for David and for Matt. Good luck to both of you, and we appreciate you coming on. We hope you think we were fair asking those questions. So thank you both to David and to Matt, and good luck in your race there. And before we get out of here, I have to tell everybody. Usually we have like a couple of guests, but I'm going to read our new advertisers. So Eagle Eye Aluminum, everybody. Specializing in seamless gutters as well as both aluminum and vinyl soffit and fascia repairs or full replacement. This is Coleman. Yeah, Tom Coleman. Look, his name's right there. Tom Coleman is
Pull it together.
a new sponsor of our show. I'm a little thrown off my game here. I think it's because there's no table in front of us. I'm usually when you have a table or a desk in front of you, it's kind of like you have some blockage from things. Now it's I feel like I don't know. I just feel like
We're this is an open forum. We're
Yeah.
open books.
Yeah. That's for damn
And
sure.
everybody's opening their books.
Yes, they're opening their books. I don't know what that means, but Tom is usually around the show on Sunday with the mayor and his fifth wife. And we appreciate Eagle Eye Aluminum as a new sponsor. And you can call Tom because, look, even the ad says he's sitting in his truck right now waiting for you to call at 239-340-1639. 239-340-1639. Eagle Eye Aluminum at gmail.com. And I'm guessing the website is eagleeyealuminum.com. Folks, Alex King is the sponsor of ours, and everybody knows Alex King. And Alex has a brand new logo that you're going to be seeing on our website and in our newsletter. And, he's rebranded with a new logo. The signs are going to be everywhere. The new logo represents his commitment to innovation, excellence, and a modern approach in the real estate industry. The refreshed design embodies the core values of the Alex King Group. Because if you don't have core values, you're just a schmuck. And you don't want to be a schmuck when you're selling real estate. You want to be like Alex King, the Alex King Group. So look for his brand new logo and his new smile. I'm guessing he's still going to be wearing Crocs. But Alex King, you're the man. And, of course, our new sponsor, or second newest sponsor, Tony Bone Painting. Tony has painted our house, and he's been down here on the beach working on some of these places that have crappy work that was done in their houses. And now he's going in and he's taking care of residents here on Fort Myers Beach, whether it's interior or exterior painting, cabinets. He showed me a video of these contractors that put screws halfway in the wall and halfway out of the wall. And it was just horrible. So you want somebody you can trust working on your house, because if you can't find somebody you can trust working on your house, then you're going to get screwed. And the last thing anybody on Fort Myers Beach needs is another screw job after all the insurance crap and all the other stuff. I'm just going to keep going until everybody leaves. Tony Bone Painting and Finishes. His phone number is, he's not sitting out in his truck right now. I know that. He's probably doing something with his kids. 239-410-7083 or bonepainting239@gmail.com. Do you want to tell anybody about your trip to Utah, or should we save that till tomorrow? All right, everybody. Tomorrow's show will be at Wahoo Willie's with Mayor Dan Allers, and we're going to ask Dan about his push to get tolls through on both the bridges. I'm just kidding. I don't think that was his idea. Nobody wants a toll on these bridges. But we got lots of stuff to talk about here on the beach. I hope you got a chance to watch the walk-around video this morning. We gave you an update on the Wyndham, and we found out some breaking news about a pizza place coming into Santini Plaza. So go back and watch that, and we'll see you tomorrow. I don't know if she's doing the bike around or not, but we'll find out in the morning. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to David and Matt. And don't forget to vote August 20th if you're a Republican. And only vote once. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.